Hello guys, it's Lee. I'm back in the shop this afternoon. I am working on a brand new mower that I got off Marketplace. Basically, the guy told me it's been sitting for, I can't remember, over a year, maybe 2 years. Been sitting in the back and it hadn't ran. Now he told me he thought it needed a starter or a carburetor. I don't know. But anyway, so I got it, fairly inexpensive. And I'm just going to show you the method I would go through. I'm going to get it running and see what it's like. Now, one thing is, and I've already did this off camera, is I have power washed the whole thing. I do that on just about every mower I bring in. Power wash it first before you even get it off the trailer, because you can't see anything. Like, this had a lot of oil on it. So we're going to have a problem here. Maybe I'm lucky and it's just a valve cover, because there's a lot around that, but maybe that's it. But it looks super clean right now because I power washed it. But I'm getting ready. Probably what I'll do, just for safety, I'll probably just, well, I'm not going to pull the cover off yet. I will before it's over. The gas, probably going to drain it out. It looks super clean in there. So I don't know, I might just, I'm charging the battery right now. That's one of my battery chargers. Took the battery off this because this didn't come with one. And this, the amazing thing about this is all the tires hold air. So give me a minute. I'm going to get the battery charged and we're just going to turn it over and see what it does first. Now what I'll do, just because I don't know anything about this mower, is I'm going to push it out on the little porch out here. I don't want it inside the building because this is a wood building and I've seen flames flying through these things before. Now, I do know for sure that the deck has a major bend in one of the brackets. So we'll have to get that figured out because it's more than, I don't know if I have to heat it up or not. That's on, I'll show it. So that bracket right there should be straight down. It's all bent up. I mean, this one's okay. That's where it hooks up to. You see it? The other one's straight. So anyway, I'll check the oil and all that kind of stuff before I do it. I already took that off. That needs replacing. So we'll just start it up and see if it runs first before we do a whole lot to it. But if it runs, if I can get it running, then I'm gonna take that cover off, make sure there's no mouse nest and all that in there, which there usually is when it's been sitting for that long. But I'll be back. Okay, so the battery's not fully charged. I got tired of waiting. If I have to, I'll put the booster pack on it. Got it out here in case it catches on fire. Heck, it might not even turn over. We'll see. Saw that. That was pure luck that it started that easy. And after inspecting the oil filter, it was it's all bented up. I don't know what in the world they did to it, but you saw just oil leaking right out of it. So it must have a little hole in it. So obviously, I'm going to replace that. So anyway, I'm going to replace the oil filter and come back and see what happens. So what I did, that's the old one. That's one That's a used oil filter right there. That's one I pulled. I did service on a Briggs, last year, and I just put that up. So it's used, but I'm just testing it out. So once I'm convinced it's all good, I'll change the oil, get a new oil filter. But I'm not going to spend money on an oil filter until I know it's good. So note to self is when you're changing your oil, I'll tell you what, just keep your old oil filters for each different model of engine for reasons like this. That way I can test it, make sure it runs good without spending any money. So I want to make sure there's nothing funny going on in here. So let's crank it back up, see what happens. Now, I'm going to clean it up first. Get my rag. All right, let's try it again. Now see if it moves. So I got it running there in the background. So what I'm going to do, the oil level's good. It's got gas in it. I'm just going to run it, get it hot, and just make sure there's no issues there. It could cut out. There's a lot of things that can happen. I'm going to check for oil leaks. I think we found the oil leak. That's the obvious oil leak. And that guy told me it had all these problems and sold it cheap. So you never know what you get into. But I'll drive it around for a few days without the hood and testing it out. Now I'm not going to turn the deck on because remember that bracket was bent. So that's after I'm convinced the motor and operation of it's good, then we'll work on that deck, bending that into place. So that shouldn't be too hard. But and plus I'm just going to burn that old gas out of it since it's running good. So you can see a little bit of smoke coming off the muffler, but I think it's just from all that oil. So I'm just going to let it run for a while and come back and see what happens. I'll keep you updated. This is a pretty easy video. I was hoping to get in and do some fixing on it, but I don't think it needs it. So it really smoothed out good. Transmission was great. It was going through all the gears, reverse. As I ran it, it probably ran a little bit better. See, there's just, I don't know if you can see it on video, but there's little smoke coming off the muffler. Like I said, this whole thing was caked in oil. It had been from that oil filter. I really thought it was the valve cover gasket, but it looks tight. Or I figured there might be a hole in the side of the darn engine. But I'm gonna let that burn off good. That's the used oil filter I used. So really, my next objective, I'm gonna be down here on the ground, is I gotta straighten that out. Oh, you didn't see it. Okay, I gotta straighten that out. So it's supposed to look like this. And I'm just gonna have to get some vice grips and a bar, pull it in order. Hopefully that works. So that's the next thing that's coming up on here, and I'll keep running it. And actually I think I got an extra bar because this one obviously broke off. Wait, I keep on getting you out of video. That one broke, but I think I got an extra one of these. All right, I'll be back. All right, so sometimes you just got to have some brute force. It's not perfect. I'm gonna tug on it some more, but it's a whole lot better. Why everybody needs a donor mower. Right there, that's what I'm needing. Engine locked up. So I'm feeling pretty good about this project so far. I got the missing part off that donor, the 2 pins. As soon as I get it fit on there, we're gonna test out the deck. All right, guys, so I'm back. Bar is attached. Can you see it? So now, what we're gonna do, we'll start it back up, run it, make sure it's still not leaking oil, and I'm gonna turn the blades on. Hey, I hadn't even looked at the deck, so ain't no telling what's gonna happen here, except for, you know, that one fix I did, and it was a lot easier than I thought. So I'm gonna put you on tripod, we'll start it up, turn the blades on, see what happens. I don't know if you could hear it on the video, but it was some pretty good vibration going on. It wasn't squealing like bearings, but look at this. That whole tip of the blade's gone. It's missing. Right there, it's all cut off. So again, those boxes are blades. I got blades right there. If nothing else, I got blades on this donor deck. I got a bunch of them somewhere. I just have to find them. But I probably got 42-inch blades. Like I say, there's some in there, there's some there. And I got some somewhere else, so I just have to find them.
Okay, if you like these videos, subscribe to Murphy's Mowers.
They're
really great.
And this is JT at Seaside. All right, so far I'm feeling pretty good about everything. I feel like in those blades, I'm just looking around for blades now. I feel like I'm gonna have those blades. Like I say, I'm not spending money on it yet, unless I need to. I'll put some good balanced older blades and I'll sharpen them and put them on there and then run it around for a while. Everything checks out through some time, then I'll put some new blades on it, new oil filter, change the oil. Heck, that's probably all it needs. And as I drive it around, I'll know more about it. But anyway, so I'm gonna stop right now. Hopefully I'll find some blades, and if I do, I'll come back and we'll put them on. Getting ready to lift it up so I can take them blades off, but I thought I'd show you this. Look at that. See, I just got stuff laying around everywhere. That's what I needed right there. I just had it sitting right there and didn't even know it. Got to categorize my stuff better. Probably got some blades in here. Anyway, I'm gonna take, hopefully the other side's not cut off and good, and I'll size it up and then I'll know what I'm looking for better. But it's the 42-inch deck, and I can't remember. I mean, obviously the blades are half of that, I guess. But anyway, if you don't have a chain hoist in your shop, I think you ought to get one. Anyway, I'm gonna take them blades off. All right, so this is what I just took off. Looks pretty good. Can't imagine why it vibrated. Now this is mine. At least it's a full blade. I sharpened them already before I put them up. But that's kind of what they're supposed to look like. That's not a bad blade. It's just got the surface rust on it. These will go in the trash. So I'll never use those again. And I'm gonna put those on and see if the vibration goes away. Another reason to keep all your spare parts and go ahead and get free donor mowers and all that, because you get parts like that. Otherwise, I'll be buying a brand new set of blades. Now, I might do that anyway, but I'm not going to do it until I know the mower is going to run good before I go doing it. All right, let's bring her down. I'll just set this over by the side for next time. So now I'm going to back it up, turn the blades on, see if they don't look any better. So that was a big success. My blades were smooth as a baby's bottom on that deck. I got a new oil filter, which was used. I used all used parts because I buy a lot of Craftsman. Even if it's real cheap and it's got a blown motor, a lot of times I'll buy it just for those parts you saw. So this is probably the end of the video. I'm gonna drive it around and mow some stuff, and I'll do that for several days. And then once I'm 100% convinced it's good, I'll put the hood back on and I'll rest with it. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I will test it out for quite a while, make sure all that there's nothing sneaks up, and only because it's been sitting out for a couple of years based on what that guy said. So I'm pretty happy with all my results. Hey, if you like these kind of videos, subscribe to my channel. I had hoped to get in there and clean a carburetor, replace a coil, do something different. Well, I'm glad they didn't have to. But don't be afraid of getting non-starting mowers online. All right, if I have a problem, I'll come back. Otherwise, I'm out. So I'm gonna let it sit out here for a little bit. Hey, that's the hood for it. I just, it's been sitting there for a couple of months. If I don't see any problems with this, I'm gonna let it sit overnight, still burning off some oil off the muffler. But I think that's normal because you didn't see it before, but it was just caked on there. So I wanna make sure there's no leaks, no problems. I'll let it sit in there overnight, but I'm gonna let it cool off outside. Hey, if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to my channel. Now, one last thing I'll say is I tend to buy Craftsman's. That's what I grew up with. That's what I've had a lot of. They're very plentiful. They're easy to work on, and the parts are interchangeable. Of course, that's true of any brand, but that's just the one I like. So I tend to gravitate toward them when I'm searching on Marketplace, and it paid off this time because I had that extra arm, I had the blades. What else? Well, the oil filter is pretty standard, but I had all that. So once I'm convinced this is good, like I say, I'm gonna change the oil filter and oil. I'll probably leave those blades on there. All right,